week 2 of stage 3. Yeah. So we were working this week, as you got your packet at the beginning of the week, we're working on our life maps. So who thought this was absolutely fun to do? I'm not hearing any cheers. I'm seeing some, I think someone actually over here enjoyed it in this corner. At first she was like, but now she's like, yes, this is the best. So I hope all of you out there are enjoying it as well. I think it's a really useful activity, especially when you're starting a new something, like a new year. Try and think about who you are and how you got here, right? Okay, so the first thing we'll do, this is your checklist at the beginning of your packet. So for those of you in class and at home, I would suggest doing this. Put it in your binder so that you can flip as we go through each page. Or if you feel like having it outside of your binder is okay, just be careful because I know it can end up being a big mess of papers on your table at the end. So however you like to do it, but we're going to go through it step by step. Okay, so the first thing that you might be a little bit confused about is how does this assignment fit with writing assignment 3? Okay, so last week we talked about pre-writing. I had you think and pre-write about things from your life. This week, what I'm doing is this is in some ways almost a bit of a pre-writing exercise because next week we're going to look at writing assignment 2, which is writing a little mini autobiography of your life. So this life map will help take you through that. Or next week you'll be able to choose one of those events from your life that was really either super positive or super negative or whatever, and write about that one event. But this is to help you get ready for that. But let's talk a little bit about why it's more than just pre-writing. Why is it convey information, maybe not opinions, in a specialized format? So what does convey mean, first of all? If I convey a message to you, what does convey mean? Anybody? If we just look at this, convey information, what might we think it means? Can we take a guess? What's that? To give, to show, to tell. Yeah, for sure, yeah. So give or show or tell information in a specialized format. So what does specialized and format, what do those words mean? Specialized. What does special?
A special format.
A special format, okay. So something that's special or
something important or something that
sure.
really...
Yeah, something important. And what is format?
The way it's laid out.
The way it's laid out. So can we kind of see now how this assignment fits, right? So we're giving information about our life in a specialized format in a way that is different from just writing about it, right? We're showing with pictures and we're giving little explanations. Okay, so read the assignment description on page 13. So if we go to page 13, if you're in class and you don't want to mess up your pages, I can just pull it up here for you. So we'll just go down to page, here we go, let's make this quicker. So this is it. Yeah, so do pre-writing activities for your topic. So some of the pre-writing activities I had you do were brainstorming and thinking, right, about some of the things you would include on your life map. Write about your topic, so that's coming as you put your map together. Explanation of information. We don't really have any, you might have opinions on there about some of the events in your life. This was a really great event, this was a really bad event, and you might explain to us in a little tiny blurb or piece of writing underneath your picture. Present factual information accurately. Again, opinions, kind of. Consider the following. Content, so that's what you have on there. So I asked you to think about pictures and symbols and all those kinds of things. Organization, how are you going to organize it? Had you look at lots of different examples. Style, what's the style going to be for your map? And mechanics, so at the end you're looking at your grammar and your spelling and all those things before you do your finished copy. So that's what we're doing this week to prepare us for next week when we'll write about one of these experiences or a little mini autobiography looking at your map and taking us through your life. Does that make sense? If you're a little confused, we learned today that that's good. Confusion is good. So
that's where we're at. Okay, so the next thing I said was complete handout 1. What is a life map? So I'm just gonna pull it up here. I did this assignment too, guys, so you get to see all my so-called answers. So what I wanted you to do is I wanted you to look for a couple of articles that described what a life map was. So who here in the room was able to find 2 articles or 2 web pages that kind of explained life maps to you?
I did.
You did? Okay, and what did you learn?
It's a helpful way of self-care in a rough time.
Okay, self-care in a rough time, I like that, yeah.
There's all sorts of different life maps,
Yeah.
and it's a way of self-reflecting on
Mm-hmm.
your life.
Yeah.
Helps us to observe, engage our lives from different perspectives, and
Yeah.
just shows you the steps to take to make a life map,
Okay, good. So was it a helpful article, Presley, that one that you found?
I guess.
Yeah, you guess.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? What did you find? Yeah.
Okay, the one I looked at, it says life maps is a vision of timeline.
Okay, a version of a timeline. Yeah. So saying what happened and in what order. Exactly. Yeah.
And a vision of depiction of life. Do I say it right?
Depiction. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also a small or large moral of life.
Mural.
Of,
Mural, like a picture. Yep. Of
okay,
life. Yeah.
of the journal taking over lifetime.
Okay. Yes. Journey. The journey over a lifetime. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From birth to where my life is now.
Okay.
It traces key moments in life,
Yeah.
time in order. It will also help reach my goal.
Excellent. Yeah.
So I set it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on what your purpose is, right?
Yes.
So that's a huge thing. So a lot of the life maps out there, the purpose is to see like where you want to go in the future and what your goals are. So if I look at this assignment, my purpose wasn't that. My purpose was to see where I've all been. I'm not so concerned about the future. But if you're somebody who's wanting to use a life map to plan for your future, you might start thinking about those future things and your goals and things you'd like. Yeah.
Yeah, well, these are just,
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Some things said life maps are like an overall narrative of your life,
Right.
and
A
it can
narrative.
help you to get insights to help you improve your future,
Uh-huh.
and life maps can help you see your story from a different angle.
Yeah.
And then we just have some stuff about what life maps are like. Your life map doesn't have to end at today. It can go on to what you want your future to look like.
Yeah.
It's like kind of
Yeah.
find your life on paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because sometimes, like, I think the reason why they say it's so beneficial or like can really be helpful is because sometimes we don't even take the time to think about those things or events in our past that actually really affected us. So when I was doing this assignment yesterday, because I told you I did it too, well, probably not as completely as you guys did it, but I was like, wow, why did I think of that? Why did I think of my uncle and how he used to always come over every weekend because he was too drunk to drive home? Like, why did I think about that, right? Why did that have such an impact on me, and why would I want to include that? Like, you start thinking of these things that you haven't really taken time to think about for a long time, and you can actually get kind of emotional because you're like, wow, I guess that really affected me. So yeah, it's really interesting. Did you want to share anything? Okay.
Can I add one more?
Yeah, yeah.
You can use a life map to inspire yourself,
Yes.
even before writing an assignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked that one.
Yeah, so that's the idea here, like inspire us to write about one of these events or our
Yeah.
whole life, right? It's an inspiration. I remember the first life map I ever did was when I graduated from high school, and I went with something called Mennonite Voluntary Service to Chicago. So I lived in Chicago the first year of when I left Altona, and I worked in a black community, African American community with children, and we had to go, all the volunteers had to go and make this life map. And at first I was like, wow, what do I do? And then I started mapping it, and then I was like, whoa, and then I got really exhausted. Because it's hard work, right? It's emotional. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I want to show you guys what I found, and maybe some of you came across this as well. So first of all, here's the web page. I found Creating a Life Map, a PowerPoint presentation, which was really helpful. Here's the address. And what does it tell me? It's a PowerPoint presentation. It begins by telling me the important questions to ask myself to get started. There's a slide that defines a life map. Another slide tells me the types of events I should consider. There are a number of slides that tell me other things that should be a part of the life map, such as images, dates, labels, symbols, pictures. I'll make this a little bigger for you people online. Or maybe for you guys here too. It also emphasizes the importance of connectors for the event. So arrows, or so that people can follow roads, boats, whatever. There are a number of slides showing examples of life maps, followed by some reflection questions. The last slide is very useful. It's a list of sample events to motivate me in the creation of my own life map. So I'll show you guys what I found. Did anybody find this?
I have that one.
Yeah?
My things are completely different.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought it might actually be helpful for us to take a look at this. Oh, sorry guys, if this is bothering you. There we go. So important life questions to ask. So where did you start out? Where have you been? Where are you now? Where would you like to go? How will you get there? So some of these things I had you think about as you went further through the handouts. But so again, this is what we've all been talking about. It tracks your journey through life. It marks out important events. The thing at the bottom is what makes an event important? What do you guys think about that question? So what makes an event important?
I think it's what's behind the event, like the things
Yeah.
you can't see, the way it shaped you, or things you went through, or the lessons you learned.
Yeah. Yeah. So what might be an important event for me, a general event, like let's say moving, might not be an important event for you. Maybe you moved and it didn't really have an effect on you, right? Although that would be hard to believe because moving is one of those big ones, right?
Especially from country to country.
Yeah.
Worse than from one street to the other, or from a little town to another town.
Yeah. Yeah. One person it might not have affected that their uncle came over every weekend because he was too drunk to drive home. But for me, it affected me somehow, right?
Yeah, it's like when I moved from Roland to here.
Yeah.
It's such a small move, but it was a big one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So some person might say, oh, why does she have that on her life map? It's just a short move. Well,
Yeah.
it was a huge move for you because of so many things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So important events in your life. So events that teach you something about life. So maybe being selected for a team. Events that made you suddenly feel older and more mature. I'll never forget my first job. I wanted to quit in the first hour. It was at IGA and I was like, I can't stock shelves.
I've been there.
I can't put these cans. I'm not doing it right. Right? Events that gave you inspiration. Events that highlight how important it is to enjoy life. So loss of a family member. Both good and bad events can make you appreciate, adapt, or change your life in some way. So, what should your map include? I'm not hard and fast about rules about how many events your map should include. It's saying a minimum of 10, but whatever you need to do to give a clear understanding of your journey. So select events from all of the life stages, so baby, toddler, child, teenager, young adult, and older adult. In this way, a life map's kind of a neat thing to do because you don't need to think, where will I start? You know where you're going to start when you were born, right? And then you can take your mind through that. What do we call that in life or in I don't know, when things go in order according to time?
Timeline?
A timeline? Yep, but there's a certain kind of order we call that. Chronological.
Oh,
Yeah, chronological. So if you go in chronological order, that makes your planning like a little easier, right? Yeah. So, life stages, you can kind of see at the end there. For life stages you haven't experienced, imagine what you'd be like, or again, that's talking more about the future. So symbols and pictures, and we're going to talk about this in a minute because I asked you guys to think about symbols and pictures, right? Whether you're going to use real pictures or we call it clip art from the internet. Have you guys given that some thought?
I think I'm gonna go with like pictures
Mm.
that I took
Yeah,
or family has taken.
yeah. You can also think of this as a gift for your kids or your family members, right? This is something they might want to look at. So labels which have kind of rough dates of the event. You can be creative and poetic. Connectors, so those are those arrows or the road, or maybe you're going in a circle. I'm sure you guys have looked at some of these. So here's a bunch of examples of different things. This
I
one
like
says,
that one timeline of my life, the way you just went up and down.
yeah, the highs and the lows, right? That's definitely a way to do it. It's like a graph. It says these are done by much younger students, but it gives you the idea, right? That one's kind of confusing, right? Like where, it just needs connectors, it says at the top, to show the path. It's kind of hard. This one as well would be a bit confusing for me.
Says missing.
This one I kind of like, because it kind of goes in, I don't know, a little bit of squiggles.
I like this one.
Yeah, this one is really good for, like, if you want to.
Organized.
Yeah, I'd like you guys to, of course, add a little bit of explanation with yours, because you're at stage 3, we want you to do a little bit of writing. So this one's good in terms of being able to put a little more writing with your map. Yeah. That one kind of is squiggly road. Would you guys feel confused reading this one?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite know where to start, right? This one's a little easier, you can follow the path. This one has all kinds of symbols.
I like this one, he said, it's like birth, school, work, and death. I'm about to die.
Yeah, that one's kind of interesting, with no explanations, right? So, yeah, these ones are very squiggly. Anyway, you guys get the idea. So, when your life map is complete, answer the following questions. So this is kind of just reflecting. So I might ask you some of these questions when you're done yours. But this is the slide that I said I found really helpful. And I can send this to you guys too if you want, if you need some more ideas. But it's talking about some general events, and I ask you to brainstorm that in your thing. So we'll see if some of your events match up with this. So yeah, that was super helpful. And then I also found this. The second one I found was this one. Life mapping will set you on the road to oh, what happened? That's weird. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to do maybe close this PowerPoint. Okay, well this isn't good. I'm gonna pause the video and see if I can figure this out. Sorry.